People ask me all the time, do you actually launch and recover that thing single-handed? Well, of course I do. Like I always say, if you can't handle your own rig, you should stay the hell away from the water. You'll see plastic yuppie fashion boaters tiptoeing around and trying to stay dry and fooling with lines that are too short. But this is the way I do it. Now, the first thing I got to do is almost forgot to put my life jacket on. You got to suit up. On board the Crystal Ship 2, safety is always job one. Where you're most likely to fall in the drink is dock operations, launching, landing, or mooring. So during those activities, I always make sure I have my jacket on. And most of the time I wear it continuously when I'm out on the boat single-handed. Now I got to get my assistant out. Us creaky old men need a little bit of help climbing around. We can't scramble all over the trailer like them young guys do. Apologize for the terrible sun angle in this thing, but that's the time of day I had to work with. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, position the ladder. Make sure it's not going to slip in a slot in the boat ramp and dump you on your head. Now the plan is to get in the boat, start the engine up, put her in reverse, and just pull it off of the trailer with its own power. We call it power launch and power recovery. I almost forgot to unhook the safety chain and the strap, so I had to climb back down. Fortunately, I remembered it before I got all the way in the boat and tried to jerk it off of there. Okay, now climb up in the boat and tip the motor down and get her going. This is the first boat I've ever had with the walk-through windshield. God, do I love that feature. Okay, the motor's tipping down. You can just barely see it down the rear of the boat. Okay, she's running. You can see little ripples coming out of the back of the boat. Put it in reverse, just drag it off, and then you go over and moor to the pier. Then walk around, get the truck, and put it up in the parking lot. Now this landing, Latimer's Landing, can be a real bugger. As you can see, I'm going all cockeyed as I back out. Pickering Passage has quite a swift current running through it, and the launch is right up against the Harstein Island Bridge. And they extended a little point out there with riprap for the foundation where the bridge touches the land. And the the current hits that thing, plus the first two pilings of the bridge, and bounces around, and it causes the current to make a whirlpool, a big slow-moving whirlpool right at the end of the pier. And when launching, recovering, or docking, that thing can just give you fits. It just has a tendency to push you all over the place. I've used lots of launches with cross currents, and they can be difficult too, but this is the only one I've ever seen with a whirlpool right at the end of the pier. Now as I come back in, you can see the whirlpool grab me and knock me all galumpus again. See, I'm sliding sideways in the opposite direction of the current. Now the thing has got a hold of my rear end and is trying to turn me a little too much. And up by the pier, put her in a quick reverse. Whoop, made her rock a little bit. I did not hit the pier. That was caused by reverse. Okay, got her moored. Now it's just throw the ladder in the truck, take the truck up and park it, and head out for the day. Now when I'm going up, I hook the ladder on the trailer, and this allows the water to drain out of the hollow legs of the ladder as I drive up into the parking lot so I don't get salt water in the truck. It's now about 5 hours later, no fish. Time to pull her out of the water. We got her all back down, and I try to judge the depth by the little foot platform forward of the wheel well. There's a a marker light on there, and it's best to have that just barely awash. Now I kept it a couple inches out of the water this time in anticipating of the rising tide covering it up, because by the time I get around and get the boat, because the tide rises really fast. And well, in this time I didn't. Got my ladder all set up. Now go on down and get the boat. And like I said, the tide comes in surges. It'll raise super fast for a few minutes, raise several inches, and then it will slow down and do practically nothing. Then it'll rise super fast for another few minutes. So I was hoping it would be a few inches deeper in the water by the time I got the boat up there. But it didn't, so it kept me from driving the boat all the way onto the trailer like I usually do. But this is good enough for a demo. Okay. Get her running, untie her from the pier, and just power it back on the trailer. The guy next to me was saying he's got his main engine out, and he had to come back on the auxiliary. At least he had an auxiliary, unlike some people I run into out there. He's got a little easier. He's got a bigger boat, but he's got a buddy helping him with the trailer.
Leave it in gear, Darren, and set the brake.
Should be moving here in a second.
Ryder, you need to stay in there, buddy. Okay, in case the truck moves, you gotta be...
There we go. I'm backing out to get her lined up. And as usual, that nasty back eddy or big whirlpool or whatever you want to call it has got a hold of me, and it's pushing me all out of position. So do some fancy steering work to get that thing lined up on the trailer. I'm going to pinball it up on the trailer. Fortunately, this trailer has nice big guides that are coated with plastic so it doesn't tear up the boat. And this is an aluminum hull, so it doesn't really hurt them anyway. Okay, the back eddy's pushing me around, making things interesting for me. Here we go. Hang on to your hat. Okay, she's in and pretty well centered up. Now give it some throttle and push her up. Now take a look and see where I am, and make sure the bow is pointed at the center of the roller guide up front there. That's that yellow thingy. And give her some more power, see if I can get her up a little farther. Ugh, well, that's about as far as she's going to go. Because, like I said, the tide didn't rise as fast as it normally does. It didn't start rising fast until after I climbed down the ladder. I'll give her one more shot. She's not going to move anymore, so I'll have to do the rest of it with the winch. Nope, she's not moving. See my prop wash coming out the back there. So shut the motor down and tip her up. Tip the motor up and climb out and do the rest with the winch. Make sure the ladder's steady.
After 3 airplane crashes. Yep.
And hook up the strap. Hook up the winch strap first. Had to give a little bit more slack.
Yeah, we did it in Vietnam.
Hook her up. And oops, I've got a twist in it, so I got to unhook it, get the twist out, and hook it up straight. Do it right. Okay. Take up the slack. And yard her up on the trailer the rest of the way. Now hook up the safety chain and throw the ladder in the truck and run up to the parking lot. Yeah, that's the way we do things around here. Now I leave the legs of the ladder hanging out the back of the truck and drive up with the doors open. This once again is to let the salt water drain out of the hollow legs in the ladder. I've drilled drain holes in them so that I don't get it in my truck. So there we go, totally successful power launch and power recovery.